Welcome back, folks, for a new episode of Leak Dish. Now, with the 9.8 patch that came out this week, World of Tanks directory files also gets updated with new tank models and vehicle stats that was added to the game, but not in the game yet. So with Tank Inspector, we get to play with these models and compare the stats with other tanks already in the game. So today we get to look at the BT-7 artillery, the IS-3 mechanized ammo rack system, the Japanese Tiger 1, the Kanonenjagdpanzer, the 121B, the 59 Patton, which is Type 59/Patton hybrid, and we get to look at the Super Pershing's armor buff in greater details because the collision model is updated. So we'll start off with the BT-7 artillery. Now I cover all these tanks with leaked videos already, and if you follow my channel up to this point, you probably know most of the stuff about these tanks. So today is just look at the model, take a few pictures, and speculate what's going to come next. So here is the BT-7 artillery. It's a derp gun on a BT-7. So yeah, short barrel derp gun. It's like the Panzer IV-A medium tank, but it carries a lot less rounds, like 40 in comparison to like 120-ish something. So that sucks, but it has no armor whatsoever, only 20 at the front, 19 at the sides, and 13 at the rear. So this thing has no armor, it's a light tank, but it is pretty mobile. So the power to weight ratio is off the charts, 37, that's crazy good. Hull traverse is very good, 46 degrees per second, and very good terrain resistance, so that's decent. So this thing is very fast. Top speed is average, reverse is the same, so that's good. Accuracy for the gun is crap. It's a derp gun, so 0.575. That's almost the same as a KV2. Wow, that's crappy accuracy. Aim time is crap. Accuracy after shooting is crap. Ooh, 5 degrees of gun depression. That's rough. And turret traverse is fast. So this thing is like a shotgun with legs. So you run around with a shotgun and try to derp people. Now penetration is not that good, only 37 millimeters. That's rough. Damage is 110 with AP. With high explosive is 164. So, all right. Reloads every 4 seconds or so. Carries only 40 rounds. Has 290 view range, which is Signal range is also pretty crap. So I already covered all of these. So this tank is frontline scout tank, active scout. And you have to stick your gun into somebody to derp them. Otherwise you probably miss based on the accuracy. So it's a derp gun on a scout tank. So it will cost around 750 gold, like the Locust or the T25. What's that tank called? I totally forget. T15, not the T25, the T15. So, is it worth your money? Your call. It's fast. It's not that accurate. It doesn't carry that much shells. You cannot see. You cannot report with a crappy radio and the crappy penetration. But it's your call. Your call. Let's take a look at the IS-3 autoloader. Now, it's not actually a drum or a clip. It has a mechanized double ammo rack system, but it's in placement for the loader, so it's not an auto-loading gun like the French or the Americans, sad to say. So there's a lack of a loader for the crew, which sucks because you want to train the loader in crew skills, but whatever. So it has a lot better penetration than normal tier 8 heavy tanks, but let's compare it with the IS-3 just in case. So less penetration than the BL9 122mm, same damage, a little bit better DPM, that's good. Reloads 3/4 of a second faster because of the no need for a loader, I guess. Well, that's not that good. Shell velocity is a lot faster. It fires APCR as the default ammo, So that's pretty good. But accuracy is not that good, 0.44. That's the Russian accuracy with the D25T. Now this gun is called the D25TA, so it fires APCR with a little bit more penetration, but still have the crappy accuracy. And the aim time is not that good. Accuracy after shooting is also pretty crap. 5 degrees of gun depression, crap. It turns slower than the IS-3 by 5 degrees, or 4 degrees for the turret and 4 degrees for the hull. What? You have less person or less weight. You have more weight based on the mechanized ammo rack? That sucks. Engine power is less, so the power to weight ratio is crap, in my opinion. The IS-3 is known for mobility because it's the speedier part of the Russian heavy tanks in comparison to the heavier part like the KV-4s or the STIs. So it has only 10.6 horsepower per ton ratio. That's not that good for a mobile heavy tank. So that sucks. Top speed is a little bit faster. Terrain resistance is a little bit better, but it's way crappier on the horsepower per ton ratio. So, has 50 more health, same view range, mostly the same radio range, and same matchmaking. Okay, it costs less, or it actually costs more for the shell per shot, but it costs less to repair the tank. Is it better than the IS-3? Well, the armor is mostly the same on the hull. The turret is still well armored, but it has the weak access port for the gun, weak spot on top of the turret. So if you look at the collision model, that's still a very big weak spot. And if your tank is a little bit taller than the IS-3, like a M103 or T32s or Tiger 2s, yeah, it can just shoot right down from the top of the turret. So that sucks. Is it worth your money for a tier 8 premium heavy tank? It's alright. It's not as good as a IS-6 in my opinion, because the IS-6 has preferential matchmaking and it carries less shells than the IS-6. It carries only 28. The IS-6 carries like 30 rounds, so that sucks. Ugh. Alright, it's like an IS-3. It's roughly the same. There's no Dushka. Oh, it doesn't have a Dushka machine gun. Wait. Looks like the commander hatch, or the hatches on top, is bigger on the IS-3. Yeah, it's roughly a little bit bigger in comparison to the Mars. As we can see, the hatches, yeah, it's smaller, but you still have the very big access port weak spot for the gun. So yeah, it's alright. Now let's take a look at the Japanese Tiger 1 at tier 6. So it's historically accurate Tiger 1 with the KWK 36 L56. Yep. Then the KWK 43 L71. So it's the historically accurate gun under Tiger. Now, I don't know about these filters on the back with the fume extractors and other stuff with the engine filters. So these are not historically accurate, I think. I think they were used in the Africa Corps, not in the German detachments. Oh no, people will correct me about it, but yeah, it doesn't look historically accurate, but the gun is historically accurate, so that's good. It's a tier 6 Tiger tank, matching up with Sherman Easy 8s, just in comparison. Now penetration is crap, like the the VK 3601H, the same gun. So crappy penetration for a tier 6 heavy tank. Crappy damage, below average, but DPM is pretty good. So the reload is pretty good. Carries a lot of shells, so you can spam it. Shell velocity is not that fast, so stick it in their face. Accuracy is pretty decent. Aim time is alright for a heavy tank. Accuracy after shooting is pretty good. 8 degrees of gun depression, which is good for a heavy tank. Hull traverse is alright, above average, but the turret traverse is the same as the Tiger 1, so slow. Top speed is 40 kilometers per hour, that's good. Hull traverse, already covered, good. Power to weight ratio is 11.4. It doesn't have the 700 horsepower engine that's on the Tiger 1, so it's a little bit slower than the Tiger 1. But terrain resistance is pretty good. It doesn't have the massive health like the Tiger 1, the German Tiger 1 at tier 7. So I think it has the same health as the VK. Where is that thing? There it is. It has the same health. So blah. Alright. Same view range. Less radio range, but 650 is not that bad. No preferential matchmaking, so you will get to see a tier 8s. Oh, that penetration is not going to do well against tier 8s. But the power to weight ratio is 0.5 off, so not that bad. Terrain resistance is the same, but less top speed. Alright, accuracy is mostly the same. A little bit better while moving the hull and the turret. DPM is a little bit better. Yeah, so this tank is decent. It has less repair costs than the VK, and the shell costs less per shot. Alright, but it is a little bit bigger than the VK, as you can see. Yeah, it's a little bit wider. But yeah, it's a Tiger tank, so yeah. If you're a sucker for a Tiger tank, I probably would get one. But it's still decent. I mean, this thing will face Sherman Easy 8s and Sherman M4 Shermans at tier 5, and likely like Matildas at tier 4s, whereas the normal Tiger 1 does not compare because they don't see tier 4s. So, yeah, it's not that bad. Alright, let's take a look at the Kanonenjagdpanzer. It's at tier 8. So here is the Kanonenjagdpanzer. We'll compare it with other tier 8 tank destroyers. It's flat, so that's good. The gun is the same gun that's on the RU-251, so that's a bummer. But penetration is way below average. Yeah. Damage is below average. DPM is below average for a tier 8 tank destroyer, so rough. It carries 51 rounds. 9 more, so you can spam it a little bit more. Accuracy is pretty decent, 0.336. Aim time is almost 2 seconds, which is good. 8 degrees of gun depression, that's good for a fixed mounted gun. Tank destroyer has 30 gun traverse angle, so you can turn the gun pretty wide, so that's pretty wide. I think the ISU has like 15, so like half of that, and the ARL has like 10, so that's pretty wide gun arc. The power to weight ratio is very good, almost 20. Top speed is very fast, 70 kilometers per hour. Terrain resistance is very good, other than the soft terrain resistance, but whatever. View range is 360 meters, which is a little bit below average. Signal range is very good, standard. And doesn't have preferential matchmaking, so it will see tier 10s. Now it has a lot of health for a tier 8 tank destroyer in comparison to the likes of a ISU or Rumtail Borsig, so it has a lot of health, 200 above those tanks. So this thing is fast, it has a little bit better gun depression, but the armor is crap. It doesn't have armor, so is it worth your money? Now let's compare with the Jagdtiger 88, because that's the likely tank it's going to replace. So the Jagdtiger 88 has preferential matchmaking, so yeah, that sucks. Same penetration, same damage, but way less DPM. So the Jagdtiger 88 likely fires off 2 more shots than this thing. Has less accuracy than the Jagdtiger, and way less accuracy while moving. But it has better power to weight ratio and better mobility, less view range. Well, the Jagdtiger 88 has the non-nerfed view range of tank destroyers before patch 9.5, was it? So, yeah, view range doesn't compare. And it doesn't have the armor like the Jagdtiger 88. But so basically you're trading off armor for speed. Is it a good replacement? I don't know. I wanted this tank in the game, but I wanted it to be like tier 7, not a tier 8. Oh well. Maybe they will give it the Scorpion treatment and move it to tier 7. We can only hope. So here is the Chinese 59 patent. It's Type 59's hull armor with a patent's turret. Oh my god. Oh, this thing is disgusting looking. Holy crap. My Photoshop picture for the leak video was not that far off. It looks disgusting. Wow. Wowzers. Nobody says wowzers. Okay. The commander cupola looks gigantic. It has the viewports and the machine gun mini turret on top. That looks disgusting tumor. That looks even worse than the M48 patent. Oh Jesus. You can look at the machine gun turret on top of the patent. And you can see it's alright. It's still a tumor, but it's less in size. So if you compare it with the 59 patent, it's a lot bigger based on the viewports. Crap. Wow, this thing is disgusting looking. Holy crap. The turret, I think the turret has a bigger turret ring than the 59, the Type 59. How the hell does this even exist? I don't even know, but yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's disgusting looking. Alright, so, yeah. It's a hybrid tank. It does have the well-sloped frontal hull armor, like the Type 59. The patent's turret is still decent, but yeah, you can see the weak spot. You can see the greatest of weak spots. Okay, after 1960, the Chinese government launched the development of a new tank. The engineering experiments included the wide use of previously produced Type 59 tanks. One vehicle was equipped with a turret, the gun, and fire control system of an M48 patent's tank. Wow. Alright, it has crappy penetration. I think it's a 90mm gun. Yeah, it's a 90mm gun. So crappy penetration, below average for tier 8. DPM is alright, above average by 100. Penetration and damage is below average, so that sucks. Carries 54 rounds. That's good. Accuracy is alright. Aim time is 2.4 seconds. Decent. Accuracy while moving is pretty good. Gun elevation is decent. Gun depression is not 10 degrees, surprisingly. 7.4 degrees? It's a patent's turret. It's supposed to have like 10 degrees of gun depression. That sucks. Hull traverse and turret traverse is pretty fast, so that's good. Top speed and mobility wise, I like a Type 59. So let's see. Alright, top speed is slower than the Type 59. Terrain resistance is the same as the Type 59. Engine power is the same, but the power to weight ratio is less based on the size of the turret and the weight, so that sucks. View range is not as good. Radio range is also not as good. Doesn't have preferential matchmaking, but it has a lot more health than the Type 59, so this thing is gross. It's weird. It's really weird. It has a lot of health for a tier 8 medium tank, but it's Chinese server exclusive. I forgot to mention that. So this tank alongside with the 121B are both Chinese server exclusive. So I shouldn't spend that much time on it, but just know that this tank exists. It looks hideous. Wow. Okay, on to the 121B. That's a tier 10. It's 121 with L7A1 Royal Ordnance Gun. They call it L7C. Alright. So it's the famous 105mm gun onto a 121B. or onto a 121. They call it the 121B. So the hull armor is 130. I think that's a little bit better than the 121. Let's see. Oh, yep, it's 10 millimeters better than the 121. And the turret is the same, 240. Well, yep, 240. So the turret's the same, the hull armor is a little bit better. And look at the collision model. We can see that this is a straight hull design, whereas the other one have sponsons from the sides. So the surface area increased, and you can shoot at this part of the tank if you're side scraping. Also note, when you have these sponsons on the hull, and if you're cresting a hill, people can just shoot at the lower part of the lower edges of the sponson right here, so they can track you and shooting up to the underneath belly of your tank, which sucks. So the armor is better on the 121B, but yeah, it doesn't have the crazy DPM of all tier 10 medium tanks. So the penetration is better than the 121, but the damage is below average and the DPM is not as good, so that sucks. Accuracy is better, so that's good. Same goes for the aim time and while moving, and better gun depression. So 2 degrees of gun depression is a lot better than the 3 degrees of gun depression. Mobility wise, it's a little bit heavier, so the power to weight ratio is not as good, but it has better terrain resistance, so that's a trade-off. View range is the same, radio range is the same, so health is also the same. Mostly it's the gun. So the gun's trade-off is more penetration by 3 millimeters, better gun handling, accuracy-wise, and gun depression, but less DPM, so that's a trade-off. So I still think it's a pretty decent medium tank at tier 10. But it is Chinese server exclusive, so that sucks. Oh well. And lastly, we'll take a look at the Super Pershing armor buff, because the collision model got updated, and all is good. So here's the Super Pershing. And here's the armor. Now, what is interesting is that they stopped attaching the spring coils for the tubes onto the gun mallet. So originally, as you can see, I'll take a look. This part is supposed to be connected to the tube because this tube right here is a spring. And when you try to elevate the gun, the springs will help vertically stabilize the gun. So imagine if this part of the hinge is attached to the spring coils. When you elevate the gun, the spring coils should compress into the hatch or the box thing. So that's what the whole system is based off. It's not a rocket tube, so yeah, it's a vertical stabilizer, if you will, for the gun. But they did not attach it, so historically inaccurate, I guess. But armor-wise, about 250 effective armor at the front. That's crazy good. 270 on top-ish. Holy crap! Now I still have the machine gun port weak spot, so that sucks. But the lower glacis is 240-ish millimeters. Automatic ricochets on some parts, 200-ish on some other parts. So don't aim at the middle center because this is 240. The sides are 200-ish and 210-ish. So aim at the sides of the lower plate. But that's still pretty decent. And space armor will troll shots because even though it doesn't have the effective armor, like the amount of penetration needed, it still will troll a few shots. So that's the power of space armor. And as you can see, there's 2 plates of space armor, one right here and one underneath. So if you get to zoom in, so this is one space armor right here, this plate, and this plate right here is also another plate of space armor. I want to see inside. So the actual armor starts right here. So there's 2 plates of space armor. So it double trolls. So aim for the machine gun weak spot. Otherwise, just shoot the side of the turret cheeks or the top of the commander's hatch. But the mantlet is pretty decent. Wow, that's pretty good. The lower part of the turret ring is well protected. There's space armor on the side of the cheek of the turret. Alright, protection against the side of the turret. And it looks like this hatch right here is not shown up in the collision model. Did you see that? So this hatch right here does not exist. I'll give you a better look. So when you try to shoot at this hatch from same point of view as a Super Pershing, it's not going to register because there's nothing right here. So shoot here, nothing. If you turn on the collision model, you can see that there's nothing there. Wow. So yeah, go for this this hatch right here, not this one, because there's nothing there, surprisingly. And if the Super Pershing is hull down, this thing is likely unbeatable because it covers up the side of the cheeks pretty well. The top of the hull or top of the turret is also covered. So shooting the commander hatch is rough. Wow, the Super Pershing got really buffed. And it looks like the track links on the side of the turret now act as more armor on the side of the turret. So yeah, the track links are now considered as armor on this thing. Now the side armor is still pretty crap. 51 millimeters. Yeah, that's still rough. 76 on the front end. That sucks. So it's a good buff to the Super Pershing because the armor is the only saving point about this tank. The speed is still crap. Yeah, the speed is god awful. But you have to rely on the armor. So the gun is alright. 170 millimeters of penetration. It's less than the 90 millimeter gun on the actual Pershing. So if you just fire APCR. If you're willing, just fire APCR. You'll be fine. So that's all the tanks they added to the tank inspector with this recent patch. But if you take a good look at the tech trees, you can see that they added, well, I'm looking at the Americans, I'm supposed to look at the Germans. They added the VK4502B to tier 7 right here as a premium tank. But they do not have a model. Actually, what am I talking about? Oh, there's a model. Well, they don't have the texture yet. So they can see the model right here. So it has 80 millimeters, historically accurate on the front end, which is roughly 100 millimeters at best, effective. Not that good. Side armor is 80, so you could good side scrape, which you should, because the frontal armor is terrible. But yeah, it's a VK4502B at tier 7 now. Alright, I guess we'll look at the VK. I forgot to mention this one. But DPM is pretty okay-ish. Yeah, I would expect to have like Tiger 1 stats, but 2000 DPM is not that bad. Accuracy is alright. Aim time is alright. Accuracy after shooting is roughly okay-ish. Gun depression is only 6 degrees, so that sucks. Elevation is 15, which is meh. View range is 370, which is good. Radio range is above average. 700 horsepower engine, which gives roughly 11 horsepower per ton ratio. Top speed is 35. Terrain resistance is above average, but let's compare it with the Tiger 1. It has the Tiger 1's health. That's interesting. Alright. Tiger 1. So health-wise, same health. Same engine, but it weighs a little bit more. So this tank is not as fast. Top speed is not as good. Terrain resistance is better. So that's the countermeasure to the power to weight ratio. It trades off. Accuracy is not as good as the Tiger 1. So is the aim time. But accuracy after shooting or with the vehicle moving is better. Less gun depression though. Gun elevation is a little bit better. Penetration is the same. DPM is not the same. So the Tiger 1 fires one more shot off. And has less view range than the Tiger 1. The armor is roughly the same as the Tiger 1 in my opinion. But the turret is not as good because there's a lack of a mantlet. The mantlet is a little bit small. So that's a stock Tiger 2's turret. It's alright. Tier 7 premium heavy tank. So I still like my Tiger 1, but there's no texture model for the VK. So there you go, folks. All the tanks released with the 9.8 patch update to Tank Inspector. So there's no more other tanks. You can take a good look. The Panzer 3K has not been released yet. They added this during Christmas of last year, but don't know what the hell happened. So, well, there's the Kanonenjagdpanzer. And most of these tanks are, I already talked about most of these tanks. There's a lot of German tanks too. Holy crap. The Gross Tractor. Oh, oof. Don't want to take a look at that one. Oh, take a look. Already take a look at this thing. It has no armor. It has a derp gun. Carries a lot of shells. Way more than the derp BT7A. So, well, let's compare this with the BT7A. Huh. Where's the BT7? Oh, it's a medium tank. I'm stupid. Oh, not the Tiger. Okay, BT7A. So we can see that it has less mobility than the BT7A, but it has a little bit more accuracy. That's good. A little bit more penetration. That's the same gun on the Panzer 4A. More view range and more radio range. So I would prefer the BT7A over this thing because it has no armor like the BT7A, but the BT7 has crazy mobility. So Gross Tractor is gross. Alright, what else? So that's pretty much all the tanks in the German tech tree. The French has nothing new, sad to say. Yep, nothing new. Alright. Chinese have the Patton, the 59 Patton, the 121B, and that's it. Japanese have the Tiger at tier 6 now. The British has nothing new. Yep, already covered the FE201 in the last Leak Dish video. The Americans, alright, people were saying that Sam should check out the M4A2E4. This tank is the beta gift to all the beta testers for the tanks. If you have 1,000 games played before the beta testing ended, they give you this tank. It's a Sherman with torsion bar suspension, then the HVSS suspension. So it has the same gun as the T14, the M3 55mm gun. 75mm gun. So it's a Sherman tank. And there's nothing new for the Americans other than the update to the Super Pershing. Yep. And the Russians is the update to the BT7 artillery, the IS-3 autoloading. Now the T44, 122 and the 85, these are testing tanks. They were the T44 with the 85mm gun and 122mm gun as premium tanks at tier 7. Nothing came out of it, so this is like relics of the past. It's not HD model, it's a standard def, but yeah, it's an old relic like the T26E4 for the Americans. So it's an old tank, but whatever. They also plan on the A32, which is an upgrade to the A20, but nothing came out of it, so blah blah blah. But that's pretty much all of the tanks introduced or added with the 9.8 patch updates. So these hidden tanks are in the game files, but they're not in the game yet. So looking forward to the Tiger 1 for the 9.9 patch coming soon. And 9.10 should have the whole Japanese heavy tank line branch, because there were leaks about 9.8 or 9.8 starting off, then 9.9 is the Tiger 1, and 9.10 is the whole Japanese heavy tank line branch. But guess we'll have to wait and see. But thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And that's all, folks. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Gun steady hands, know that I'm locked and loaded, ready to shoot. To watch your crying face, I ran the fire in my heart's leading me to you. running without any rest. I keep on trying to figure out what's the start and end. Suddenly it all makes sense. Hey, stop the clock, I'm moving on. 'Cause we're in the darkness, ready to leave. Hey, stop the clock, I'm moving on. Breaking down the doors 'cause I finally see. Hey, stop the clock, I'm moving